Hello. So I just had a call with a client that I thought, this might actually be helpful for someone else. And since I promised to do a video more than every 10 years, which has tended to be the case, I thought I would share that here. So I get a lot of folks that come in with amazing ideas, people who want to have transformative impact on the world, who want to create spaces that never existed for them, who want to bring about new ways of doing transformational work that they're seeing out in the world, but they feel blocked. They feel blocked. They feel that they stagnate. They lose momentum, which can result in confusion. It can result in frustration because they're not making the amount of progress that they want on their ideas. And there's a lot of shame things that come up. Maybe I shouldn't be doing this. Maybe I don't know what I'm doing. Maybe who did I think I was to try to solve this problem? And there's a number of reasons why there may be that block. What I have found come up for clients often and tools that I use to help is one, well, really clarity. Clarity is a tool. And a lack of clarity is often the reason why we feel unclear, but that we feel we have an idea, but we're not quite there yet. And what we're communicating isn't really coming across to the people that we're talking to, or it can lead to blockages because we're just really what we have in our head is just so vague that trying to translate that into something tangible in the world becomes difficult. So clarity. And when I say clarity, not just writing it down on paper. Clarity is actually a really difficult and iterative process. It's something that we go through multiple times. Um, and when I say clarity, I mean challenging assumptions that we may have while we're doing the work. Why is this important? Case in point, if I tell you, or if I say the word attorney, I am positive when I say attorney, you have certain ideas, attributes, stereotypes, maybe not so positive experiences, maybe positive experiences that have popped up with an attorney that all culminate in just that one word without you even really having to think about that. That happens with everything. So when people come to me and say, I want to create a nonprofit, there's all this baggage and assumptions and ideas that are tied up in that they haven't even unraveled. When they say, I want to do X in the world, there's assumptions tied up with that. So clarity also means getting clear on what those assumptions are because those can block us. So one way that I do this is called the 5 whys tool. And this seems to have been really helpful for people recently. It was developed by the founder of Toyota. It's what they use in their quality management system to get to the root cause and to do root cause analysis behind quality management issues. And so if a screw is out of place on a car, they will shut the line down and they will proceed with a process of really understanding how that even happened. And so I've translated that, and I've seen many others translate that into how we do our work. So when people tell me, case in point, I want to create a nonprofit, I will ask them why. And they will say, I want to help the people in my neighborhood. Why? I want them to be able to feel that there's a bigger world. And if they want to stay, have economic opportunity. Why? Because with economic opportunity, there is more intergenerational wealth, there is more family wealth, and there is a greater ability to do the things that really matter to them. Why? Because when they can do the things that matter to them, you could do this. And so, as you can imagine, it becomes very frustrating for clients. And it's annoying. One of which I think the reason why is the defensiveness of even having to get that clarity and having to really sense how big it is, the things that we want to do in the world. But note, starting a nonprofit is not the same as creating intergenerational wealth. We can do intergenerational wealth without starting a nonprofit. And that's why it's so important to have that conversation and to do that work. Um, so that's one tool. And doing that, you may find yourself unblocked. Maybe your spirit doesn't want to do a nonprofit and it's saying, girl, no. If we're able to do that, get some real clarity on what's underneath that, we may say, you know what, actually, I want to start a business that's really rooted in the community and hires people out the community. And that's how I'm going to build their intergenerational wealth. And that may make you really excited. And that may help remove some of those blocks. Another is we tend to do what we've seen done because that's what's presented as being successful. We go the worn path, right? And so I've seen this in my own work where I had a very clear idea of how I wanted to do this work, but my implementation of it straddled what I thought I should do and shouldn't do. And so another tool that can be helpful, I'm distracted because this thing is going slow, but we're going to run with it. One of the things that has been helpful for me has been this practice of deconstruction and reconstruction. So, case in point, everyone talks about Facebook as a case study. I don't want to run a Facebook. There's a number of issues with how Facebook is running. I don't have to get into that. That's another video. But what I may say is I want to have the same interconnectivity. I want to create the same or even more intimacy. There's aspects that of Facebook that maybe I want to implement. Then it can be helpful to deconstruct. What is it about Facebook? Because I could just go run off and try to create another Facebook or create the Black Facebook or the social impact Facebook. But built into Facebook are models that are totally inapposite to and preclusive to Black populations and social impact. So me just replicating it isn't necessarily going to get me there, and that may lead to blockages because we know these things intuitively. So instead, I can deconstruct, really get clear, there's that word again, on what it is about Facebook that resonates with me, and then reconstruct something that integrates those. Well, first I can question them. Do they make sense for what it is I'm trying to do? And then reintegrate. So to use the Facebook example again, I can deconstruct and discover it is the level of connectivity, it's the level of engagement, it's the access that each person has to family and friends across the world that I love. Then I can pull those pieces out instead of trying to replicate everything about Facebook, which may not be my ministry. So the video, I don't know what's going on with my Wi-Fi. The video is moving weirdly. I hope you stuck with me here. I find deconstruction and reconstruction to be another great tool in terms of removing some blockages and really helping people get super clear on what it is that they want to do so that my practice can come in and help connect the dots between that idea and that vision and actually bringing that social impact, that transformation that they want to have to fruition. So I hope those tools are helpful. There are some resources on my website, emcclarty, MCCLARTY.PLLC.com, that talk a little bit about these. I also have office hours where I'm accessible and talk a little bit more about these if you ever were interested. And then, of course, we do this inherently with our clients. And so if you have a transformative way of doing things, project, vision, idea, business, organization, whatever, and you are wanting assistance or support in that, then please feel free to reach out. Hope this was helpful.